All right, let's finish this tonight. Want too much water. Excuse me. All right. All right, now let's see if I can get her. Let me work on her hair. I just wanted to get the kimono, as they call it. Can't put too much ink on it. What's happened is that the stone is sucking in the water or the ink straight into the pores. All right, there you go. All right, now with the hair, what I did with the hair. Okay, let's see. Let me get a little bit close up to see the hair. Now I've already started the hair process already, but it's just no matter of this highlighting it just a little bit more. That's okay. Okay. I want to make her hair look even darker. I know it's going to seem as if I'm messing things up, but it's not. There you go. And this look kind of strange, but it's going to work out. get a little bit darker inside here. Don't worry, all come together. Then we do the same thing here. The reason why it's going to work, what happens is that the scratches gives you the illusion of the movement of the hair. And it gives you the look of okay, then we want to do the same thing also with this part here. Okay. Now, let's erase a little bit of these scratches in here. Okay, now let's clean her up now to give you this look. Just a few scratches in the right location. You gotta make sure you get the sweet spot. By scratching a little bit more in the middle, it's going to give you really a true reflection. By taking off now underneath here is how you got to scratch it the right. In this case, it's just now a matter of a slight touch. And of course up here in the dark shadows, just now a matter of scratching it there. Same thing applies here, the back part. We want to give that illusion of that movement. You don't want to take off too much, but then we want to give another look of the hair flowing. But it's important that you got to scratch in the right. And if it's too much, how much? Now this is where it's coming to give it a nice touch now. Dig down a little bit more. Just a few scratches deeper. There you go. Just digging deep down gives you that look of so what we'll do next is we start making her look a little bit better. Small things such as the eyes, just a small scratch in the right location will give you that look. of the orientation, and then of course we can take off. We can leave the eyebrows, but of course the same thing applies up there. Yes, so there you go. Now I made a mistake up here. I put too much dark, so it's not a problem. Get their sweet spot. To make it look real. Simple stuff. If I made a mistake with the finger here, just a matter of scratching off just a little bit. This is the beauty of Barbados stone that no one yet seems to understand or appreciate. So much art can be made from what we have here. And of course we have this one here. We'll make that into the brush, into the comb I should say. So let's scratch just a little bit more to give you that realism. Sand it just to give it a little buff. Can't do too much. And where necessary, just put a little bit more of the ink. Just to give it, I don't want to touch too much of it. But then what I do find is just by touching it, it spreads it in there. Anyway, this is not one of the more important features because of its being just a simple black and white image. Normally I like to do faces and portraits. They're the ones that are highly technical. This doesn't mean image doesn't represent anyone in particular. But when you do faces and portraits, you have to have an exact replication of what that person is. And this is why this art is so important to me, because I can't make any mistakes. When I mean I can't make any mistakes, if I do, I just have to go back and put a little bit more ink on it again, and we start fresh. So there is no real mistakes in art on these stones. These are not just any average stone that you found on any Barbadian beach. These are special stones. So now with this back part here, we're just going to scratch to give you the illusion of the hair flowing. Undone here. And when I get ready to do the flowers, the same thing will be applicable. Just a matter of scratching. If too much of the ink went on it, just no matter of scratching it back to the original color. Like in this case here, I want to make another look. And then when I'm ready, just put a little bit of pure black on it. I will use a pen for these pieces though. And what I will do afterwards, I'll probably put these and paint these in a pink color. The flowers, that is. See, I messed up here. You didn't see this part here, but see this right here? I'm going to make a flower there into that. Another one there. So this is what it's going to be, which you can't see it, but right here is a little bit of an issue in the actual stone itself. When I sliced the stone, I had a mistake here, and I also had a mistake right inside here in the hand. But these stones are so, they're porous. Because of the porosity of it, you cannot, I don't want to do too much to it. If I do anything to it, I will destroy it. So when I'm doing a portrait of someone, I would never use these stones. Well, they can work. So that's just so it shows you the simplicity of it. Just a scratch in the right direction would give you the illusion of shades and color. So, anybody wants to see another picture that's already finished? If you do, let me know and I can go and bring it for you right now. And probably have another one I have to finish for Ernesta Bab. Okay, no problem, Firefly. Dream, Barbados. I had one for Ernesta Bab. Let me pull it up 1 second. Again, if you don't know what it looks like, this is a regular stone. Not regular stones. These are stones I have to climb down a cliff to get. But the stones are made from their pores, the porosity of these stones. It is not limestone. It is not coral stone. These are sedimentary rocks. As you can see, you can hear the nature, the difference of them. For example, this part, you can hear the hollowness. And they're very soft when they were all basically sediments. But this one here. But anyway, let me show you what it looks like. These are the stones I will not play around with. This one is one of the larger stones that I did. I have to still work on the hair, give the hair a gray look. Further up here, I gotta go back and just do a little bit more scratching on it to give you that illusion of gray head, of gray headedness, as the Bible says, is the act of beauty. This lady's name was Ernesta Bab, a very nice lady. She died about 10 years ago, but she was still my girl. She would come from New York every year to look after her sister. And she's my girl. She always baked her brownies for me. And she had a brownie she also took to, I think, a family member at Haywood's Beach at the time. But what you see here anyway is just the ink. The ink that I'm using, as long as it touches the subject, as it touches the stone, it's never going to come off. That's one of the beautiful parts about this art. I can't make any mistakes. Because let's see if I give you an example. For example, if I touch the ink here, what's going to happen now is, it is fused to the stone. It's going to go into the stone itself, and it will stay there permanently. Well, right now it's still wet, so it's not really going to be permanent. And this is not the pure ink. This is actually diluted ink. If you want to see what the pure ink is, I don't even like doing it because it's very difficult to take off after it goes in there. Just one touch, and I think that should be it. I don't like messing around with a rock that I've already started because, okay, let me see here. If I touched it, it's going to scar that. I don't like doing it, but just for the sake of clarity, I'll do it a little bit more here. Okay, this is a pure ink. Oops, see, that's it. It's gone inside the stone, and it's going to be there until I can only do one thing to get that ink off, because water's not going to hurt it. The example. If I put this spray bottle. Oops, be careful, Dennis. I'll just put a little bit of it's just a little bit of water. But with the water, did it touch it? Oh, let's try it again. No matter how much water you put on it, it's never going to come off. It's permanently put inside there. No matter what you do, you rub it, it's not coming off. The same thing applies to her face. I mean, I can put it, no water is going to hurt her face. That's it. She's permanently on there. I haven't put any gloss yet to her face or anything like that, but the ink, and in case you don't believe that, and that's the beauty of my art. It's never gonna come off. No matter what. Sorry about that. So anyway, now that I've wet her face, there's nothing I can do. I can't really work on her anymore because I can, but oh dear, I messed that up. So what I will do, if I want to work on her eye to give her a little bit more clarity, it's just no matter of just a little scratch to bring her eyes back and to make the eyes a little bit grayer. Again, I don't want to mess with it now because I like it dry and I prefer it dry. So let me get a little close up if you want to see. Let me dry it off. This is what is so cool about the art, is that as long as the ink goes on there, it's never going to come off. So you can put this in the sun, in the rain, you can put it outside on the headstone. The sun is not going to hurt it, it's not going to cause any damage. And that was the ink. So if anybody has a problem with the scratching and the scraping, well, I once did too when I first started it. I hated any dust like that, but the reality is it works. So you understand the reason why the art is called, in case anyone did not understand why I would use such a strange name as Lapiscalpo. The word lapis, L-A-P-I-S, is Latin for stone. So stone, lapis, Latin, lapis, and then scalpel, which means to scratch or to scrape, is Latin for scalpel, S-C-A-L-P-O. So Lapiscalpo, or Lapiscalpo is what I call it, is two words put together, scratching of stones. So it really is like a form of etching. I'm really etching this etchings, but I prefer scratching. So Lapiscalpo. Yeah, it takes a lot of time to get it done, but here's the beautiful part about it, is that as long as this job is finished and it's working, it lasts forever. Sun can't hurt it, the rain can't hurt it. Oh, let's do an example. Got some ink there. I'll fix that later, but as you can see, sun is not going to hurt it, fire is not going to hurt it, because the ink is embedded into the stone. Can't hurt it. So let's say you get a fire and everything burns up in the house. One thing for sure, you know that your art is still going to have some sort of existence. And only Barbados stones have I found has this quality. So I hope you enjoyed it. It's just, I got to finish her, but really and truly, I just wanted to finish this piece. I did this a couple years ago, but I never finished it. So now I just wanted to finish it, to put it back together. And in case, yeah, same thing applies with the water. But these are beautiful. Let me explain. Let me see if I can put this under so it doesn't wet up my background. Sorry for the paper or for the fabric, but let me show you this. The reason why I like these stones is because they have colors. They have natural colors because of the sedimentary nature of the stones. That when you put it, you wet it, what's going to happen? This is what it's going to look like when it is glossed. So much better, right? So this is why I like these pictures. This is why I like these images. Simple. You get to see the natural color of the stone. So the stone colors is what's going to come out to touch it. Let me show you another one quickly. This is why I love when I slice these stones in half. I look to see what I'm going to find. So when I find it, it may not look like anything to the average eye, but for me it is. Like for example, when I cut this one, take a look at that. Look at that. Pay attention to the colors as they start to glow. Look at that. Now when I find a stone like this, there's no way I'm going to put too much colors or too much pictures on it, because God has already made something as beautiful as this. All I can do is just say how beautiful it is. So what I've done is that in this case, I put it on, for example, let me show you quickly the look. I don't know if the light's going to show all of it, but this is what it looks like. And so what I've decided that because of the natural colors, the sediments, and the minerals are in these stones, I want to take advantage of it. So this is what I've done on the other side of that stone. What do you think? There you go. Simple stuff, just black pigment. Make the mountain, scratch off the base here just a little bit to give the reflection of the natural color of the stone. I put some yellow, some pink permanent ink that has actually flowed inside of the, to give you the look of cherry blossoms. And then when you wet it, this is what it's going to look like. Those colors are going to come out. And this is, I haven't put any color on this other than the basic black and the scratching. So this is what we have here in this little island that nobody really understands what we got. Hope you like it. There you go. So when I find these stones, I have lots of these. Well, I can't say lots because there's still some outside in the yard that still needs to be cut, but you don't know what you're going to get until you slice it. I have one more that I'll show you before I leave. I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to invent or try to see how I can work with. Let me move this out the way so that you can't. Oops. See how I messed up my paper. Oh, goodness. I'm trying to learn. Oh, let me go this before I go. The reason what I've been doing is in order for the stone to stand up on its own. I don't like most rocks. You just put the rock down, it's just a rock. But then when you elevate it, and so what I do is I put it on a secondary base with another stone. And then I slice that stone and I create this base that actually allows the piece to stand up on its own. So when a person gets one, they're not going to see a rock. It's not just a rock. This is art, fine art is what I call it, that has been permanently etched on stone. So I'm trying recently to see how I can learn about the rock wrapping techniques. I'm still learning, but I'm going to get there. But I'm not there yet. But let me see if I can show you this stone that I've done. I can fix it another time. That's while you're here. Now when I sliced this stone, this was amazing. Totally amazing. Because when I sliced this stone, let me show you just a piece of it. This is how it looked when I sliced it, piece by piece. So when I found this one, or is it this way? No. Yeah, it could be this way too. Doesn't matter. So when I sliced this, this is what it came out. And then I saw this piece. It was a woman, and then down to her feet. And then the ink, not the ink, but when I brush it, the colors, you may not be able to see the full colors of it. I'll try to bring it in a little bit closer. But the colors are, now you see the water hits it, and then the colors come out. And what I've done with this, what I'm going to do with this is, I'm going to, when I can afford to get another slicer, probably a tile cutter, probably a wet saw, I'll then be able to slice this even down to thinner pieces. So this one will probably get 3 pieces, and then I'll be able to frame these small slices. With every single one that comes out will be totally unique than the next. So that is what and what I love. I don't know what I'm going to find until I slice it. I hope you enjoyed our discussion tonight. From Just Water, yes. From Just Water. No, I have not put any sort of acrylics, and nothing is on it. These are just what it looks like. And in case you don't know, this is what the middle part of it looks. So it was this. I think I sliced it into 4. I think you. Yes, you. And I think there's also one more piece that attaches to that. Which was this one here. So we have 1, 2, we have 3, and 4. So what I'm going to do is I'm still learning and trying to figure out how to get and create a proper stand that is going to stand up on its own. And once it stands up on its own, but actually, I don't want to go into too much detail, but it works very well by means of just, but they're porous, but they're also very, not soft. They're not soft. These have been compressed for thousands of years to create what it is from just dirt, sediments. And so the colors inside here are minerals that have been embedded into the stone. Maybe plants and whatever it was, but that's what it would be when it's finished. So that's the beautiful part about finding the right stones. And know if anybody's asking, do these stones come from Bathsheba? No, these are not Bathsheba stones. Cannot be. I've already tried Bathsheba stones or any stones on the East Coast. The East Coast stones are too filled with clay. And because of the clay, while it's true that clay is also minerals, it is too dense and it's too soft and it's too light. And because of the hollow nature of it, if you touch it, it will eventually it will break apart. So these are not clay. These are not Bathsheba stones, not St. Philip stones. They're not West Coast stones. West Coast is made up of coral stones. A coral, even down by Animal Flower Cave, those stones are also a form of coral, very, very hard. These were all basically dirt or dust or sediment. And those sediments, which lasted for thousands of years, compressed and compressed and compressed and compressed, eventually washed into the ocean. And when it washed into the ocean, there's a further compression, which roll these stones against each other for thousands and thousands of years until they wear down to the point that they become solid. And then this dirt, when I find it and I slice it, it's old, but I'm putting something new on this old. So anyway, next time I work on it, I'll work on her ear, I'll work on her other ear. I don't think I need to go too much into it. I don't want to go, I'll make her teeth a little bit whiter, but just a little bit of a scratch to accentuate her teeth. As you can probably see what it will look like. I never liked teeth before, because before I started slicing the stones a few years ago, I hated teeth. I always tell a person, if you want me to do a rock for them, please don't give me a picture with you smiling, because the teeth were one of the worst things to work on for me at the time. Now it's not much of an issue. So if you see the difference between that tooth after it's cleaned, after it's scratched, so that's what would be done to all these others. Yes, so one of these days, I guess when I can afford it, I can teach persons the concept. David Thompson had one before he died, and I gave him one, and he was so appreciative. He wrote me back a letter saying this is something that he would like being taught in school in Barbados. My focus was I was going to give the idea and the concept to the deaf and the mute society of Barbados, because the belief is at the time, and it still is, that while it is true they may not have the ability to do a lot of things, while they still have the ability to do a lot, they just have not been given the opportunity. And I was thinking that this art would have been able to give them an opportunity to even do something, and to do something for themselves, and to be a part of society, not to have someone think that, oh, you're deaf and dumb, when in fact the word is not dumb. It is deaf and mute. And people somehow have this belief that, as Barbadians have said as a child, because I have an uncle and an aunt that were deaf and mute, it's always deaf and dumb. And while it's true the word dumb does reflect that a person cannot speak, the connotation of dumb was formed into where persons think that you are stupid, or you don't have a lot of cognitive sense. But it's definitely far from it, because if you ever meet a deaf person, and they may not be able to speak, but they can curse you in so many different ways, and so they're not dumb, they're not foolish. And that was my concept. But of course, while I may have a great idea, the problem in this island is that if you have a good idea, governments and others, like Nation newspaper and the others, they were interested in is taking that idea, using it, and not really helping other persons. It's always about from a selfish way of doing things. But anyway, that's the way it works in this world. And I just don't want to die with knowing I have a concept that I've created. And yes, I'm passionate for what I do. You know what it's like to create something that no one in the world does? Yes, you're looking at something that no one in the world currently is doing, because they haven't yet found out my secrets. And I have not told everyone my secrets. See, right now what you're hearing, I'm not doing anything. You can't hurt anything. You can't hurt it because the blade is very dull right now. So if I want to get what I want, I just have to scratch it. I have to change my blade into the side that I want. If not, I then have to just change the blade. I usually change the blade for every new piece that I'm doing, until I find a way to, or devise a way to sharpen my blades. And I can. I just got to find a device that will actually, up here is super sharp. Up here is super sharp because it's never used. It's never been used. But down here, you will have a little bit more of a difficulty getting that off. But down here at the base, it's still untouched. So I'm just barely scratching and using the tip of it. So I hope you'll enjoy it. I'm talking too much again. I guess while I'm here, I can just finish scratching this piece here, get rid of this that's on there, the stain. As you'll be able to see there, It's basically like sandpaper. I have another one there. All right. Thank you, Firefly Dreams Barbados. Thank you. I don't normally open my mouth and say anything. I don't know. Believe it or not, I'm in sales, but I really don't like selling myself for what I do. And perhaps one day I don't like to promote myself. I don't. Even though they say if you don't tell people what you do, you'll never sell anything. And that's probably why I'm poor and broke, because I'm not telling anybody anything. But that's okay. The right time will come and the right people will come along eventually. And then you have to sell myself. Yeah, I know. Yeah. But you see, you don't understand. Selling myself, it's easy to say. But you also have to understand selling this art is very, very difficult. And the reason why is because unless I speak like I have spoken tonight for the first time and whatever, you're selling something that nobody has ever seen before. And yes, I can explain, and I have explained myself a little bit tonight on it. But it's not like I'm doing canvas and everyone is there doing a canvas print or seeing what I'm doing. This is something that no one has ever seen, and that you're dealing with a stone. And Barbadians have this belief that when it comes to stones, I'm going to hit you with a big rock. Or in other ways, they say if a woman is given a big rock, what is it? It's not really a good approach. They have a little bit of a problem with stones. And to think that someone's going to say, I'm going to sell a rock. I'm going to sell you a rock. He says, a rock? I don't want no rock. You just go up on the beach and pick up a rock. You want to sell me this for $100? Boy, you mine. And that's what they think. But they don't understand how much work it takes to make one of these pieces. It's a lot of work. But it is rewarding, because when you see the smile on the face of someone who has received one, and they appreciate it because now you see your family member that may have died and they're permanently etched on stone. And so that's why I have to be careful selling myself, because if I sell it too cheap, what's going to happen is that I want you to do 10 for me, and I'm going to sell it for $100. I said, excuse me. And I have had to regulate myself to selling the art very, very inexpensive over the last 15 years, because with the hopes that person's going to say, oh, I want one, and then they tell me, oh boy, Sobers, you could sell it for $1,000. You should be selling it for $1,000. I says, oh, really? Okay, so would you like me to do one for you? Nah, man, that's for them, but I want you to do one for me. Yeah, I don't think so. And so if I sell one for very cheap and very inexpensive, what's going to happen is that when a person say they want 50, or that means I'm regulated to making a stone for a very low price. And I work in shipping. I work in the transportation field. So you have to ask: is doing a rock going to pay your bills? No, unfortunately, it's not. It's not that. And there's no sponsors out there to say, man, Mr. Sobers, you have a very good concept. Let us support you and your concept. Let me go on, let's put your name, Carter's here on the floor or the ground, or put your name up there, Jafet. Yeah, right. They don't. No one is doing that. No one is doing it. Not necessarily yet. And I refuse to be the flavor of the month of someone to say, we found a son of the soil. Mr. Sobers, he's a son of the soil. Yeah, unfortunately, got to go overseas to become somebody in this island. And it's sad, but it's reality. And I'm trying my best not to get up and go back overseas and to live back go back to where I come from. Barbados doesn't realize that they have something so important. And the reason why I say that, I got people from Greece who see my stuff on social media. They want me to tell them and show them how I'm doing my art. Show me how. I want to learn, yeah. And maybe I'll just do a tutorial. Maybe I'll make some money teaching people the concept instead of me sitting down. But anyway, I got all my pieces. 90% of all my work I've ever done, I still own. So when the day comes, anything happens to me, then my wife will have something that, like Picasso, not Picasso, what's his name? I got his ear cut off. All his stuff. He died a poor man, but yet he had such great, beautiful pieces that you gotta wait till you die, and then it's gonna go up for sell for millions and millions of dollars. It says it's not fair. And the man did all this wonderful work, and he and his family doesn't even get nothing from what he's done. Anyway, that's the way it is. Yes, sad but true. Sorry. I was here talking to myself, I guess. Listen, I have been on here for, I don't know how long it has been, but I know that I'll do it again very soon. I hope you enjoyed it. Firefly Barbados. And next time, I think I'll save this in case you want to go look at it again. Please enjoy your night. And I must go on your site to go and like you and invite you the next time I have another showcase coming up. So please enjoy your night, and I'll talk to you another time. Bye.